want to keep today's chat more conversational rather than just asking a few questions. So what we have seen is CTV has definitely grown. It's no longer just another channel. It's no longer just an extension to digital. It's more of a bridge between TV and digital, is what I can say. And India now has almost 80 million smart TVs, and 50 million of them are actually using connected TV, which is a sizable number when it comes to TV viewing households. We are now close to 25 million, 25% of the TV viewing households. So CTV cannot be ignored, in my opinion, any longer. But all of it said and done, so is TV going away, not going away? It's a matter of time. We'll have to see how TV will shape up, how CTV will penetrate in the Indian markets. But it's a sizable penetration now. So which brings to my first question, and I want both of your perspectives, because both of you come from different backgrounds. So you come from an agency and you come from a brand. So do you look CTV as more of a reach and engagement, reach and impression kind of a platform as of now, or there is still engagement which is coming on CTV? So we can start with Chinmay and then probably Himanshu can add.
Yeah, so Mihir has rightly said that CTV is on a rise. We have roughly 50 to 60 million household devices that we have, which enables us to reach out to almost 150 to 200 million users. So the beauty of CTV is that I get the benefit of planning it the way my client wants to, right? Whether I want to plan it from a TV standpoint, then of course the metrics are going to be reach and frequencies at 1+, 2+, and 3+, which are very hardcore television planning metrics. If I have to plan it as an extension of a mobile where I want to reach out to a lot of premium audiences, then of course my matrix becomes viewability, matrix becomes VTRs, matrix becomes engagement. So CTV allows you to plan the way your client wants to, and of course the beauty of it is that it gives you both kind of measurement and matrix, whether you want to add CTV as an incremental to your television, or whether you want CTV to be supplementing your mobile and the digital ecosystem. So that is what CTV brings to the table.
Correct. Himanshu.
So I want to give the perspective from a brand side. So if you see in the digital era is no more like a recent, it has been now there for quite some time. In last 5-7 years, so there is a significant change that has come in the industry, that more and more spends in the digital side is moving towards the performance than the typical branding. So maybe the percentage in a typical, let's say BFSI or FMCG, in BFSI, then our ratio is almost 75-25, 75 skewed towards the performance. So this is where all those things are ultimately the measurability. Let's say if you are doing any specific campaign, the best benefit in the digital is what is the ROI, what are the various metrics that if a particular campaign we are running. So I think that's where the CTV has a lot of advantage, and lot of advertisers move great spends from regular TVs to here, because unlike the traditional system where just running on your thought process, the agency give you some options just given, but here there are multiple metrics which I can see in terms of there are direct metrics, there are some indirect metrics. Direct metrics could be in terms of how many users are seeing, frequency, conversion, ad completion rate, what are the user segmentation with more programmatic. Ultimately, the brand control or any advertiser wants control should be with him, not just at key agencies or ecosystem is giving you some numbers. We have these TRP. Everyone knows that TRPs can also be can be easily be exploited with the multiple things. But because of this, here are ultimately you are getting maybe converted through maybe QR code or some click rate. So you are ultimately getting the business out of it, not just at plain running the campaigns. So obviously CTV has grown to maybe 25-30%, but it is there are two parts of it. One is it is in the interest of the customers, they are more controlled, better costs. Another side to the overall CTV is there are multiple micro drama or vertical drama concept that are coming and that getting popular in this. So maybe that is something which will also evolve in the CVTV in the coming days, and that is something to be adopted where the quick. So in last 2 years, what I've seen that there is a significant change in the consumption behavior where people are now less watching the long-term web series or kind of structures to maybe the micro drama or other thing, which generally gets consumed. So that I think that change will also come here, and because CTV also offers a same login kind of setup, and with this, I think that should be a good positive change that should be like more impactful for the brand as well.
Great. Coming to my next question, so we spoke about dynamic creative optimization and more targeted creatives. So it has two parts. One is, do you also use a lot of real-time signals from third-party or second-party providers for targeting your ads on connected TV? And second, if we use that, is there a risk of overexposure? Because I was listening to Jayed where he was talking about there is a risk of overexposure when you target a smaller segment. Is there a risk of overexposure in that scenario because you're targeting a very niche segment, and does frequency become a challenge then?
Yeah, so overexposure actually can be controlled with a frequency control. Now, what happens usually is that yes, the moment you add more layers of targeting, your audience size reduces. But from a media planning principle, what we follow is that we know that what is the objective that we are chasing in terms of whether it's a top of the funnel awareness campaign, or whether it's a spond awareness that metric that we are chasing, or it's a consideration metric that we are chasing, and we have certain media planning principles of a optimum reach and a frequency to operate to move that needle. Now, if that optimum frequency is at a 4 plus or a 5 plus or a 6 plus, we ensure that that frequency controls are there. Brands might not be able to understand how we control the frequency or the overexposure, but yes, when the media planning is not correct, we end up doing a lot of overexposure, because I have seen a lot of ads on connected TV in the app ecosystem where the ads are back to back. Like if there is a 20-second slot that an OTT has, and if a advertiser is using a 10-seconder, you'll have back-to-back two ads of the same brand, which is not a healthy practice. So of course, it depends on a lot of media planning professionals to deploy correct way, deploy those media planning basics, so that the ad fatigue, the overexposure of your ad is maintained. But definitely, yes, we need to understand that if it's going to be a lower audiences, then of course there could be fatigue and overexposure of your ads.
You want to add anything on that?
I think fairly detailed point. Not and addition to this, there is one more ki even the timing. So let's say ki you are targeting maybe the head of the family or the male. He may not be available in the during the daytime. Maybe the children's or wife or someone is in the family is watching that thing. So all those things needs to be very clearly defined. Ki what is expected, who in the family is going to ultimately target through this particular time, what sort of content or the specific locations that particular ad will be served, timing of the ad, weekend, weekday. Let's say in the during what in the 1 hour, what could be the maximum number of times it can be served. All those things ultimately define, and that's the where the difference come between a normal campaign and the better successful campaign, where how better is the media planning that goes.
Correct, correct. One last question, I think, before we end this, and we'll take one last question. And this is something which I think is my only concern when it comes to connected TV, when we are advertising there, is OTT platforms don't have any censorship as of now, or it's very limited. Vis-a-vis, linear TV has a lot of censorship, and a lot of brand safe content is there on those channels. So how do you manage to do that? Because a lot of times, so one is, yes, there are some brand safety platforms which are there, but how do you manage that in an environment, say if you're advertising on a Hotstar or a MX or those kind of channels where yes, most of the content is censored, but there is a risk of going into non-brand safe content territory as well. So how do you limit to that problem?
So There are a couple of tools that are available in the market. I would say a couple of partners who are there in the market who actually we deploy with consent of the client, because one thing is very clear, as you rightly mentioned, that there is a very thin line over there. We can't actually go and see where my ad is playing at what content, because at the end of the day, it's an impression by and not a spot base, in television, where we know that my ad is going to be running between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and I know exactly after 10 minutes of my content an ad slot is there. So in there we have a couple of partners who we use, which measure the third party partners who actually we deploy our campaigns to them, which are in a brand safe environment. So your ad fraud, your privacy, your brand safe content, everything is being taken care by those partners when we deploy it. We also get placement level reports in terms of how and where my ads were placed. One way of buying it is that if we do direct partnerships with OTT, maybe they might not allow you to deploy it. But when we do it via a programmatic deal and push it through a DV360 or any other publisher partner, definitely these third-party trackers are available for us to take care of all ad fraud, privacy, brand safe content to be deployed in the content that we are viewing on OTTs.
For you, your category especially is very regulated and compliance driven. So does it bother you in any manner that since data fraud or not data fraud, but privacy or data fraud or non-compliant content where your ad is running? Does it bother you?
Super important, especially being in the kind of regulation sector which we come from. First of all, there have been even for a dynamic creative optimization. So we also have to ensure if we are using some sort of customization or maybe using some sort of AI to create a evoke a new creative. It has to be whether in the lines creative it is getting served. Second, obviously, keep places where it is getting served super important. Again, we cannot have our specific brand running in a very different, maybe some sort of politically driven or children or any other thing which ultimately not goes in sync with the ultimately the objective of the campaign. And obviously it's again the performance is the key. If we are targeting, we have to ensure we reach out to the right platform there. So that is the first key to the overall marketing media planning, right from key. We have to filter out these things which should not be chased in any format.
Thank you. Any last point? So I'll just want to ask you. So when it comes to marketing now, what portion of not spend point of view, but what portion of your marketing thinking goes into connected TV that way? So do you think specifically for connected TV, or do you design campaigns for connected TV? Right.
So I think one thing which I've started focusing, and I believe now personally, ultimately as a brand, I don't see CTV as just a platform to serve. I just see that there is someone in person who is eventually watching that TV. So just not about serving the ad, we just serve the ad anywhere, anywhere, time, any moment. It has to be very contextual. Because everyone, if let's say in year back or 2 years back, there were few brands. Now there is a rush of the brands who is doing the CTV, and ultimately after a point it becomes a dark zone kind of thing. People are not even relating. Oh, okay, this is come, I will skip it. I am not even I'm seeing the ad, but I'm not mentally into that ad. So while he is in the mind state of the entertainment or maybe in the state of consuming some content, so the content of the structure of the design of the creative should be like it goes in the contextual settings of where he is watching or consuming the ad. And I think that's where the whole difference comes between a very successful average and below successful creative. While we do all sort of customization, programmatic, personalization, and all that everything.
I'll just answer in a non-script 20-second format. Yes, we do a CTV based planning. Our media planners are well equipped to handle CTV as a separate part of the media plan, and we deploy all our TV learnings and our mobile learnings, combine them and deliver CTV plans to the client.
Great. Thanks, Chinmay. Thanks, Himanshu, for this
Thank
lovely
you.
chat.